Hello everybody, it is Jason Hiller coming to you live from my car in Madison, Wisconsin. I hope that you can all see okay. The sun is actually very bright and I can't see anything, but I'm so excited to be on here today. I'm actually pretty humbled and honored to even be asked to speak to this group with such amazing trainers that we've been seeing all week. So thank you to Donna and all of the other amazing leaders that have been sharing with us this week. Hi Troy. So I'll give you a little bit about my history. So I started with Pampered Chef in December of 2015. My recruiter, Rachel Hansen, had actually been my consultant for a couple of years. I've been hosting with her, and she just reached out to me in December and said, hey, I've got a really great deal this month. Do you want to hear about it? Literally, that's all she said. So it piqued my interest. I found out that all-purpose pot was the sign-on bonus for that month, and I really wanted that because I didn't have any Pampered Chef cookware. I was never in a position to spend the money to purchase it. So I was like, what the heck, I will sell my $12.50 and take my all-purpose pot and run. And kind of the month or two prior to that, Rachel had me test out a virtual party for her. So this was when virtual parties were just kind of coming onto the scene. So, you know, I hosted the virtual party. A couple months later, she reached out. I have a great deal, told me about the sign-on bonus, and I signed up. So I didn't actually have the money for a kit. So I had received a gift from my grandfather for Christmas, and I actually used that gift to start my business and try to earn my all-purpose pot. So I was like, wow, virtual parties are super cool, super easy. I work full-time in the human resources field in Madison, so I'm working 45, 50 hours a week. Virtual parties, I think, would really fit into my schedule. My partner works in retail, so he's busy most of the weekends. So I was like, I can do this on the weekends, and went from there. So I signed up in December, really spent about 2 weeks being thoughtful about how I wanted to kind of promote my business. I didn't want to be, you know, quote unquote, that guy that's bugging all of his friends and family to host shows. So I really kind of thought about where I was going to go to find customers. I knew I had a couple, you know, customers from the shows that I had hosted that would be interested, and kind of started there. And I've also been very involved in philanthropy, and specifically with the United Way here in Dane County, as well as the Humane Society. So I decided I was going to start my business with fundraisers, and I don't use the classic Pampered Chef fundraisers. I do kind of my own thing. I set them up as catalog shows and offer the groups 20% back from my commission check. So I actually write the check directly to them. One, that was awesome because it was a new business and I needed to build my kit up, so I was able to use those host rewards to beef my kit up, because I started with the small kit. And also it was a bigger percentage than most of the other fundraising groups were offering, and the check that I was writing is tax deductible for me. So it was mutually beneficial for the group as well as for myself. So my first month in business in January, I had, I think, was 6 virtual parties and 2 fundraisers, and we sold $4,500 that first month. So my first paycheck was $1,100. So blew away my initial goal of selling $12.50 for that all-purpose pot, and made quite an income. So then I was like, oh my gosh, there's all these Pampered Chef dollars on the line with the new consultant rewards. And actually, I think in December when I signed up, I had actually had, they were giving an extra 30 days for the 90-day period. So I actually had 120 days to earn new consultant rewards. So again, I was hooked on those once I got my first month, and I ended up earning $1,100 in Pampered Chef dollars in my first 90-day, which was actually a 120-day period. So needless to say, I was pretty hooked. The virtual parties were working out really well for me. Charlotte Nagai was sharing all of her outlines at that point, and I copied and pasted my whole business, and kind of learned along the way, developed my customer service along the way, and just kind of kept building. So Donna wanted me to talk a little bit about why I started doing more cooking shows. So I think the issue that I've had, and I'm really excited to learn some of the tips from the prior speakers this week, but you know, I don't feel like I was really connecting with those customers in the way that I should have been, right? So I was kind of doing the shows, following up with the people that were ordering, and kind of leaving a lot of money probably on the table. I started doing cooking shows just to kind of practice with some close friends and family members. And actually, before I would do a recipe at a show, I would have a dinner party with my friends and just kind of make the recipe so that I would get used to cooking the recipe and using the right tools and making sure that I had everything available. So I've done probably 4 or 5 fajita and margarita parties, which are super fun, super easy, and you know, when you get the tequila flowing, the sales start happening, right? And you know, they're really fun. So I was nervous at first, but they're actually really a lot of fun to do cooking shows. And honestly, I've had 100% recruiting from my cooking shows. So I don't follow a script. I do whatever the host wants me to do, whether it's demonstration or station style. You know, I've showed up expecting to do station style, and they'll say, you know what, we cook all week, we want you to do it. So you know, I just go with the flow. I don't really have the booking or recruiting cards. I don't play any games at my cooking shows. I just show them how much I love the product, and I think that really shines through. In fact, Danielle Peterson, who is on my team, signed up from one of my cooking shows, and actually she initially said she was going to book a show, and when I called to finalize the details of her show, she said, why don't we just make that my launch party? And so we did that, and it was awesome. So I think it's just a lot easier to connect with people in a much shorter time frame at the cooking show. Don't get me wrong, I'm still 90% a virtual consultant, and I love my virtual business. But the other reason that I wanted to start doing more cooking shows is because I don't have very many local customers. Excuse me. So I see a lot of people doing flash sales and inventory clearance sales and this and that, and I don't have local customers. So it was, you know, if I want to do an auction, I'm gonna have to be shipping out every single item that I sell. So cooking shows have really helped me kind of deepen my local presence. I live in Madison. It's probably about 250,000 people, so it's a small city. There's not a lot of space, and so I got a lot of resistance as far as doing live cooking shows because people don't think their kitchen is big enough. They don't think they have enough friends that will want to come. But you know, the ones that I've had have been very successful. The hosts book again and again, and you know, I really get to know those guests. My show average is much higher with cooking shows, although hopefully that will change with all of the tips that I've been learning. So thank you to everybody this week. But again, the show average is much higher. It's much less time in the long run to do a 3-hour, you know, cooking show with travel time and dishes, and then other than a live or you know, I've been doing 7-day virtual parties, so it's a lot of time to invest in that party and stay committed to connecting with those people. So the bang for your buck, I think, is a lot bigger in the cooking show. Get in, get out, and make your money, right? Excuse me, I'm gonna cough again. All right. So yeah, that's what I know about cooking parties. I'm excited. I have a freezer meal workshop for the first time in September. It'll be very interesting. I've always wanted to go to a freezer meal workshop, so I'm probably about as excited to stock my freezer as I am for my hosts and her friends. But yeah, I love my virtual parties. I love all of the things that you've been sharing this week, and I will continue to do virtual parties probably until the day that I stop selling Pampered Chef, which I don't envision anytime in the foreseeable future. But cooking shows have been very nice. You know, when I can pick the schedule that I want to do. I don't overwhelm myself with them. I maybe 1 or 2 a month at the most, and then keep my 8 to 10 virtual parties every month going to keep my business going. So that's what I have for you today. Again, thank you for inviting me to speak, and I will definitely keep an eye on this post. If there's any questions that you have for me, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. I'm going to go back to work now. Bye, guys.